And the Trump effect looms over Britain's debt-ridden economy. The country-independent fiscal watchdog warns that the United States trade tariffs could shrink the UK economy by up to 1%. The Office for Budget Responsibility also projects slower growth, citing weak investment, high borrowing costs and global uncertainty. To stabilize public finances, Chancellor Rachel Reeves announced deep spending cuts in her spring statement. This includes reductions in disability welfare payments and a 15% cut to civil service costs over 5 years, targeting savings of $2.5 billion annually. Yet, despite these measures, the government now expects to borrow more than projected just 5 months ago. Labour's budget strategy includes tax hikes for businesses starting April, adding pressure as firms already face a minimum wage increase. At the same time, inflation eased but remains above the Bank of England's 2% target. The central bank has kept interest rates unchanged, warning of persistent economic uncertainty. Chancellor Reeves addressed the cost of living crisis in her statement.
The cost of living crisis is still very real for people in Britain. Global instability is holding back prosperity across the world, and countries across Europe are rightly having to spend more on defence. That is why today I have spelled out how we are going further and faster in delivering our plan for change.
Debt has soared to 95% of the GDP, the highest since the 1960s, leaving the UK vulnerable to further shocks. Meanwhile, protests erupted outside the Parliament, with demonstrators condemning welfare cuts amid a $2.8 billion boost to defence spending. Critics argue that Labour's focus on fiscal discipline comes at the cost of struggling households, while investors remain cautious about Britain's economic future. A major external threat to the UK economy is the possibility of new tariffs from the US. The Office for Budget Responsibility warns that a global trade war could shrink Britain's economy, given its reliance on international trade. Higher interest rates and rising gilt yields could also eliminate Reeves's limited fiscal headroom, forcing further policy adjustments. Reeves highlighted the economic damage looming over the economy if Trump persists with his tariffs onslaught.
The last time Donald Trump was President of the United States, trade and investment flows between our two countries increased. 1 million British people work for American firms and 1 million Americans work for British firms. So you can see how closely our economies are intertwined, and tariffs between our economies, increased tariffs between our economies, will damage both of our economies, and we'll continue to make those make that case for free and open trade. And let's see where we get to in the next few weeks.